Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've hit the bottom of the hour plus 1 minute. My name is Fred Holmes. I'm an independent distributor with Zeke International. I currently rank a triple diamond in our company's compensation plan, and it's my privilege to welcome you all to our Monday evening Millionaires in Training call. I have the privilege of being able to share some information with you. Normally our top distributor, David Moses, this is his call on Monday evenings. He asked me if I would pinch hit for him this evening and share a few things that we've learned over the years that can certainly make a difference for many of you as you strive to hit the higher levels of leverage residual income that's available in our profession, and certainly within ZG International. This evening, I know we have many brand new distributors that have just joined the team. We even have some of you that have been invited guests. I'll let you know in advance. Our real focus this evening is not going to be sharing information about our company, the income opportunity, the product per se. We have other opportunities throughout the week where you can get additional information using this same conference bridge. On Wednesday, this coming Wednesday evening, myself and Pat Anderson, Diamond Elite with our company, will have a special guest on our Wednesday evening product-oriented call. We're going to have the formulator of the Zija products, Dr. Russ Bianchi, is going to be sharing a great deal of information. So certainly join us on Wednesday evening to get additional information about our products. I will be hosting a call on Thursday evening, which specifically is going to talk about the essential ingredients in successful home-based businesses, and specifically oriented towards the ZG International income opportunity. So we have a number of opportunities to get additional information for those of you, perhaps this is your first opportunity to be involved in our conference call. This evening, on Monday, our real focus is on the habits, the skills, the mindset, the activities that are required to be in a leadership role in our profession and to create what frankly most people would call life-changing levels of income. What I thought I'd do this evening is share a few things that are really more oriented towards brand new distributors, certainly applicable to any of us, regardless of the level of attainment you've received in ZG International, the profession of network marketing. But what's happening today, see, the entire landscape of our company has changed dramatically in just about the last 12 months. ZG International has been in business now a little over 6 years. The first several years were really the foundational stages, or what we refer to as the formulation stage in the network marketing profession. And just in the last 12 months or so, we've started to consolidate and move forward into a place that's often referred to as the momentum stage in the development of a successful network marketing company. What me and you might call the massive growth stage. And by virtue of that, what ends up happening is that we have a tremendous increase in customers becoming distributors, new business partners being exposed to our plan and choosing to get involved in the business of ZG International. And it just seemed very timely to talk about a few things more oriented towards the brand new distributor. And frankly, it's not just things that we've learned over the years. Myself, I've had the good fortune to join this industry now 28 years ago, actually. As a much younger man, I was a cross-country truck driver, had the opportunity to transition into this profession of network marketing at that point in time. And for each one of us that has hit higher levels of success and prosperity in this industry, we've all undergone these kinds of changes. And so I want to speak to one of the primary issues that a brand new distributor will want to focus on, and I'm going to give you 5 specific elements that you would want to take some notes on, and because this is kind of the progression from a novice network marketer, developing some supplemental income and moving forward into a full-time income. And for many of you on the line, your goals are much higher than creating a replacement income to actually create what, again, most would call life-changing income. But here's really the most important of those issues: walk-away income. To be able to invest a few years to build a business that would continue to create income, spin-off income for the rest of your life. And that's really been the promise of network marketing, and very few companies have been able to fulfill on that promise. Many of us are here with Zeke International today because we've seen other companies come and go, and we're here today because of the experience of our corporate team, in particular the founder of the company, Ken Brailsford, and frankly because of our product. Truly, one of the very few products I've seen in the industry that has, a virtual 100% customer retention. It's uncanny what happens when people start using our product. So this is some of the things that were taught to me very early on in my career in this industry. And one of the most important things that was taught to me is that this is an industry that you can truly determine for yourself what your results will be. In most situations, you're highly dependent upon conditions and circumstances out of your control. Self-determination is a critical element in this profession of network marketing, because you can truly create your Zija future, and you can do that from the very beginning of your business. And so I want to speak specifically to brand new distributors, people maybe just getting started, perhaps some of you that have been with us for a while, recognizing that now is the time to get serious about building a Zija business. If you're looking for true walkaway income, understand the natural progression of stages that all distributors go through. The first stage is the product stage, and that's where you use our product, you like our product, you get results, and you start to recognize, you know what, I bet you other people would like this product and get results as well. And so you move into the retail stage. And that retail stage, you can create some very good supplemental income. You start sharing the product with others, you recognize that they like the product, they start buying the product, they stay on the product, and you start to see you can actually build a business here, and you want to have the leverage that comes from developing your own distribution organization. So then you move into the recruiting stage, if you will, where instead of so much sharing the product, you start to share the plan. That recruiting stage is what will carry you to true replacement income. And for most people in North America, making an extra $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 a week, which is certainly reasonable within the compensation plan of Zeke International, that would really replace income of about the top 4 or 5 or 6% of people in North America. But many of you are going to be looking for the complete package that this profession can provide. I call that life-changing income, transitioning from that $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 a week to $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 a day. And the only way that you're going to be able to do that is through creating leadership within your distribution team. And so it all begins with you as a brand new distributor, and many of you will choose to take the fast path and recognize that the way to create substantial volume is not by yourself, but by developing distribution teams. And so your goal will be to look for additional team members, other distributors that you can bring to the international business. And everybody asks, so what am I looking for? Well, certainly you're looking for people that have, certain characteristics, specifically 3 that I consider to be essential for long-term success in our industry. Number 1 is a willingness to work. Make no mistake about it. There is nothing in this life that you can accomplish of significance that isn't going to require hard work. This is not the lotto. This is not easy money. Certainly it's a simple program. The fact of the matter is it does take work. So look for people that are willing to work. Secondly, look for people that are willing to learn. Got to be coachable. Our profession is unlike anything else you may have experienced. And the real key here is to align yourself with people people that have created success specifically in our profession, and then be willing to learn from them, be coachable. That's a hallmark of somebody that's going to be successful in our industry. And finally, third ingredient, burning desire to succeed. Be the burning desire to succeed, if you will, why you need to have success in our industry will always be much more important than how you do it. Everybody wants to know how, and many years ago I learned why is much more important than how, because if the why is great enough, how will always work itself out. And so become, as a brand new distributor, the person you're looking for. You will only be able to attract people that are as good as you, or if you will, that are as developed as you. So strive to be a hard worker, coachable, and have a burning desire. And then, manifest those kinds of characteristics, because that's the person you're looking for. And if you want to attract people like that, you must be people like that. And so I want to give you 5 specific things that will really help you an awful lot in terms of that goal to become the distributor that you're looking to attract into your business. Number one, and it should seem obvious, but sometimes it isn't, set goals. Set some goals for your business. One of the things that I do an awful lot of, and some of you have heard me train in different parts of the country, I give illustrations that are applicable to my previous career as a cross-country truck driver. Certainly one of the reasons is that I know that industry, but it also seems to be very pragmatic. It's very, logical. It makes sense to most people. Well, as a cross-country truck driver, one of the most important goals that I had to set every single week as I started on my week's, journey, I had to determine where I was going. I had to have a destination. And see, the interesting thing about destinations, I could, start in California, have my trailer loaded up, close the doors on that trailer, and even though my destination might be, 1,500, 1,800 miles away, I had a decision to make the moment I left the loading dock. I had to decide whether I was going to turn left or right out of the parking lot. And even though that destination was a long ways away, I had a critical decision to make at the very beginning of the journey. And before I could make that decision, I had to know what the end of the journey was. That's what goals are. They're your destination. Without a goal, it's not possible for you to, route your trip, to plan your journey if you don't know where you're going. How do you get there if you don't know where there is? And very often, so many times I'll speak with a brand new distributor, just excited about getting involved in Zija, but their mindset is, well, I'm going to put some work into it. I'm going to see how it goes and see if people like the product and see if people want to get involved in my business. And if the thing takes off, well, then I'll put more time into it. And see, that's almost a guarantee that you're going to get the results you've planned for, because you haven't planned for any results. And it just leaves everything up to chance. Reality is, it's kind of like saying, we're going to have a brand new baby, and we're going to give him a few months and see how he does, and if he really takes off, we may just stick with this parent thing. Nobody does that. And so, the day you start with Zija, you need to set some long-term goals. And I always like to use the analogy of, where would you want to be, let's say 12 to 24 months from now? What level of success, and quantify it, make it a dollar amount, what level of income would be sufficient 12 to 24 months from now to justify your time involvement in building a Zija business? And just pick a number. I mean, for many people, I think it's a reasonable expectation to look at a 12, 18, 24-month goal to achieve a replacement level of income. And if you think about that, if you could devote the next 2 years to a part-time business that could replace your current level of income, then you'd have some real options. You could choose to become a full-time distributor and own your own life. Or, if you love your job, be able to earn twice the amount of income that you you make from your current, business, job, profession, what have you. But it's always good to start with setting some goals. And the reason I like those longer-term goals is once you establish a number, a level of income over the next 12 to 24 months that would be acceptable to you, then it's really easy to work the numbers backwards to understand what you need to do today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next quarter to achieve those goals. Because this, again, isn't the lotto, it isn't magic. It's a profession that's measurable. Activities create results. If you set a goal first, then you can work the numbers backwards to determine what activities and the level of activity you have to engage in to achieve those goals. So first step, set some goals. And if there's a corollary to that, the second half of step one, so once you've done that, then create short-term goals. First day, first week, first month. Create your own Zegis story. Now, number two, establish why. See, this is like anything else. It's going to require some work. It's going to require some learning. Every one of you that has a current job or business or profession or occupation, there was a certain amount of training and education was necessary to achieve that. In the real world, many people will spend 12 years in school, another 4 years in college, in some cases another 2 to 4 years for advanced degrees, and they'll spend 5, 10, 15 years in a profession to get to a level of income that many of our distributors surpass within their first 1 or 2 years. And so if you understand that it takes time, you have to understand that you're going to need to have a reason why. Okay, for everything else in the real world, it's to make a living. That's why we spend time in school. That's why we spend time on the job at lower levels to achieve a higher level of responsibility and then a higher level of income. Same thing in our business. Although you can dramatically compress time, the most important ingredient to keep you moving forward is going to be why you do this. Now, for me, it was very simple. It was all about my children. My desire to transition from truck driving to network marketing, it wasn't a desire to get into network marketing. I love driving trucks. What my desire was to create more income to provide for the needs of my son as he was entering school and to provide more time freedom to be with him. My why was for my son. And see, there's very few things that rise beyond that level of why, if you will. Breathing perhaps. And the greater the why, the more significant the why you are doing this, the more likely you are to succeed. Remember what I said a few moments ago. When the why becomes great enough, the how will work itself out. Number three, invest time in visualizing your future. This was one of those intangible things that I was taught very early on. If you can visualize it, then you can accomplish it. I tell the story of the last company I was with back in the late 80s and 90s. I accomplished a goal. I hit a level with that company. We called it the National Marketing Director level. And I hit it in record time. I did it in 11 months. It was like, astounding back at that time. And I had people say, well, Fred, what was it like to experience being, recognized in the big convention as the fastest national marketing director in the history of the company? And frankly, it was kind of anticlimactic. Because for the 11 months leading up to that, I visualized every moment of that experience. I visualized, the auditorium we were going to be in when I would finally be recognized as a national marketing director. I felt the temperature of the room. I saw the stage lit up and the audience kind of darkened, and I envisioned hearing my name being announced as the newest national marketing director, and envisioned myself making that little, jaunt up to the stage, and then getting on the stage, and sensing the air conditioning, and being only able to see the first 2 or 3 rows of the audience from the raised stage because of the way the lighting was, and shaking the hand of the president of the company as I was handed my award. Every single element of that particular moment in my life, I had already experienced that many, many times, visualizing that as I would go to sleep in the evening. And the real question is did that event take place because I visualized it in advance, or was it just happenstance? Well, I did have a little bit of help. I read a book very early on in my career in network marketing, a book by a gentleman named James Allen. And I encourage you to pick up James Allen's book. It's called As a Man Thinketh. And it establishes so many of these success principles that some of our top income earners take for granted today. But if you can start the process of visualizing your success, visualizing the activities, and break it down into your day-to-day operations, visualize every activity that you're going to engage in. In particular, visualize the activities that you engage in your Zija business that are challenging to you, the ones you don't feel you're good at. But visualize you accomplishing those activities successfully. Because there's one of the most powerful things that we have is our mind. And as a matter of fact, one of my favorite sayings comes from Napoleon Hill in his great book, not As a Man Thinks, Think and Grow Rich. What the mind can conceive and believe can be achieved. There is magic in that. Not the kinds of things that typically align themselves with success in other professions, but certainly in our profession, these things are everything. Number 4, establish your DMO, or if you will, your daily method of operation. Now, everybody approaches the Zija business a little bit differently. We tend to wrap our business around our life. For some people, this is a business that they are involved, out in the marketplace. Myself personally, I do 95% of what I do to build my Zija business is done from home, just the way I am right now. Shorts and t-shirts, sitting on the patio and enjoying the evening. This is how I do my business. I choose to do my business from home. Well, my lifestyle is such that's a requirement of Zija. I have my elderly mother with me at home. That was one of the great benefits of Zija. To be able to have a business I could work from home, have time freedom and flexibility in my, day-to-day or hour-to-hour schedule, and be able to create, frankly, financial abundance to be able to provide for the needs of my family. Everybody approaches their Zija business in a fashion that fits into their lifestyle. But whatever is your daily method of operation, the activities that you engage in on a day-to-day basis, you want to do 2 things. Number 1, make sure that you're operating in correct activities. What are correct activities? Correct activities are very simple. Sharing our product and sharing our opportunity. Those are the essential correct activities. You make no money in our profession preparing your business cards or putting together your marketing materials, creating your flyers. None of that brings you to a customer or distributor. How do you obtain customers and distributors? Very simply, share our product, share our opportunity. Those are correct activities. Once you identify what the correct activities are, then establish a method of operation where you can accomplish those correct activities on a daily basis. Frankly, it really doesn't make any difference, how much time you have to devote to your Zija business. Certainly, it's better if you have more time. But the reality is, for most people, it's almost better to start with very limited time because that means you have to be much more efficient with the use of your time. If you were to take 1 hour a day and divide that into 4 15-minute increments, and then in each one of those 15-minute periods, engage in a correct activity. Invite somebody to learn about our company and product. Another 15-minute increment, a follow-up on information that you provided, another 15-minute increment, a third-party validation call, putting together, your sponsor or your upline and your prospect to let another party do that third-party validation. If you simply devoted 1 hour a day and you did one prospecting activity a day, at the end of 30 days you would have prospected and completed that process on 30 different people. And I guarantee you, something as simple as 1 hour a day, broken into small increments, done at whenever it was available to you, the time, you would get results. I can't tell you what the results would be. I can't tell you that you'd get 3 distributors, or 5 distributors, or 10 distributors, or 1 distributor. What I can tell you is that if you operate correct activities on a daily basis, consistently, for a prolonged period of time, you will get results. That's the hallmark of success. Consistency and persistency in correct activities over a prolonged period of time. Number 5, you got to understand the 80-20 rule. Now, the 80-20 rule is something that many people have talked about. It's recognized in most industries. For those of you that aren't familiar with it, the 80-20 rule very simply states 80% of the productivity is always accomplished by 20% of the people. 80% of your results will be accomplished by 20% of your team. And I really can't tell you why that is, but that's just the way life is. It's the way it's always been. It's the way it's always going to be. You have to understand, not everybody is going to do what we do. The 80-20 rule tells you, by definition, you need to invest 80% of your time and energy with the 20%ers that are the most productive. And so, don't be disappointed. I mean, every single one of the top income earners in our company have brought people to Zija that have really not done a lot. I look at my own personal organization, and I recognize that, a handful of my distributors represents a lion's share of my productivity. It's a handful. The 80-20 rule is alive in every single profession and certainly alive in ours. Now finally, in closing, a couple other quick thoughts. You cannot accomplish more than you have without becoming more than you are. For many of us, we have achieved much greater levels of financial security and prosperity within Zija International than we ever could have in any other line of work that we've been involved in. But I guarantee you it's not possible to go much beyond where you've been if you don't become better than you are. Jim Rohn says it, and I love his saying. One of the greatest things about becoming a millionaire is not the money. It's becoming the person you need to be worth the money. So understand, whatever goals that you set certainly can be accomplished. I mean, we really haven't found a limit to what Zija can offer yet. We haven't seen a cap, if you will. But whatever it is that you want to accomplish can certainly be accomplished here. So remember, you're not going to achieve higher levels of success until you've achieved higher levels of personal development. And then finally, give yourself the gift of time. I think one of the biggest challenges that people have getting started in our profession, and certainly within Zija International, a brand new distributor, is comparing themselves to somebody else. I mean, especially here over this last, 6 to 12 months, we've had some of the most amazing fast start success stories. But I guarantee you, for every single distributor that started, day one, and it seems like almost overnight they've created incredible success. I guarantee you there behind that story. They didn't just, fall off the turnip truck and jump up and become successful overnight. There were other things that have happened in their previous, their life previous to Zege International that set them up for that speedy growth. You need to give yourself the gift of time to become successful. Give yourself the gift of time to learn our profession, to undergo the personal development that you're going to need to achieve to see higher levels of success. Give yourself the gift of time to develop your skill set and develop your own leadership. I spent 2 years in this industry with my first company. I call it my training ground. And I did well with that company. It's, certainly more than I made as a truck driver. But it wasn't until I hit my second company and had a couple of years of experience underneath my belt that I actually was able to move into the six-figure levels of income. And frankly, had I not had the experience with that second company, I would not have been able to truly take advantage of all that's been available here for me and my family with Zege International. I think it's very reasonable to invest 2 to 4 years in this industry. Because if you invest that level of time and you bring with you the characteristics of successful people, willingness to work, willingness to learn, and a burning desire to succeed, I can assure you that if you give yourself that gift of time, you will be amazed beyond your imagination the potential that you'll be able to see within this profession and certainly within Zege International. So those are a few things I wanted to share with you folks. I've hit the top of the hour and my allotted time. I hope that you've been able to find some benefit this evening. I hope that this was valuable time that you invested in your Zege business. Remember that tomorrow evening we're going to have a special business presentation on the Zege income opportunity. On Wednesday evening we'll have our Straight Talk with Russ Bianchi, our product focus call. And then again on Thursday I'll be hosting the income opportunity presentation on Thursday evening as well. With that, I'm going to go ahead and once again thank you for your time this evening. I'm going to open up the lines and wish you all well. Thank you for joining us. The lines are open. Oh, shit.